Absolutely. So the India-EU summit, we did see a statement exchange and press statements being exchanged by the European side. In fact, a delegation is visiting India, including Ursula von der Leyen and President Acosta as well. And of course, on the Indian side, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also present at that briefing or at the exchange of press statements venue were also several central and union ministers as well. But let's talk about the mother of trade deals as it's been talked about, given the fact that it covers 2 billion people, and of course, as has been stated by leaders on both the sides, that this is the largest ever deal that has been concluded by both these geographies, EU as a geography and India as a geography, and definitely it increases market access for goods and services on both sides. So let's take a look at the nitty-gritties of this trade deal that we've been given to understand by the Commerce Ministry. Overall, the current bilateral trade is at $136 billion in goods and services. The target post FTA is $200 billion in goods by 2030. In fact, as far as the contours of the deal are concerned, 21 chapters have been finalized. The legal scrubbing is currently underway. It's going to take another 6 months or so before that is finalized. But what India has actually gained is zero tariff market access across all non-agricultural sector. Agriculture has been completely kept off the table from both the sides. In fact, EU has opened 144 services subsectors for India, and major tariff elimination in sectors are worth $33.5 billion, and they start on day one. Now, the massive bonanza that's come in for sectors, specifically that includes marine products, chemicals, textiles and apparel, leather, footwear, gems and jewelry, base and consumer goods as well. In fact, EU will be eliminating more than 90% of tariffs on Indian imports from day one into force. However, there are additional tariffs as well. In fact, additional 3% phase tariffs and 6% that are covered under quotas. In fact, an important point as far as this particular trade deal is concerned, that agriculture, definitely those sensitivities have been kept in mind, but steel is not part of this and neither is CBAM. In fact, what we're given to understand from the Commerce Ministry as far as this particular FTA is concerned, that it will be negotiated separately. The steel chapter will be negotiated separately, and they're expected to get better quota access than non-FTA nations. In fact, let's now come to the automobile segment. Well, cars below 25 lakhs, they are largely excluded from the EU interest. In fact, there is quota-based access above 25 lakhs with calibrated tariff cuts. In fact, EV concessions will also start after 5 years or so, given the kind of uptake that we've seen in the EV segment. But what is the EU gaining? Well, EU is gaining access to one of the world's largest markets in the world. India will also be cutting tariffs to zero 93% of imports from EU for the next 10 years. There is coverage that is rising to 97% of the quotas. In fact, India's weighted tariff average, as far as that particular number is concerned, that falls from 6 to 7% to 2.8% to over a decade. As far as CBAM is concerned, remember CBAM, steel and autos, these were some of the challenging chapters, and these were spoken about and discussed at length, especially as far as the last leg of these negotiations is concerned. On CBAM, India's policy has been clear, which is that it is an existing regulation and there is nothing specific that is being levied upon India. In fact, carbon trading and price mechanisms, they are these are flexibilities. If they're given to other countries, they will be given to India as well. So this definitely is a major trade agreement that's been signed between India and the European Union, and Ursula von der Leyen and President Acosta stated in no uncertain terms that amidst a turbulent world, India definitely is an oasis of development. It brings in stability, and if India develops, the whole world develops along with it.